Getting to Thailand was nearly impossible. So how did we do it? Oh gosh, the lens has steamed up. Well, first of all, we're going to have to find a beach bar to help explain it. The only issue is, we don't know where one is. That way, or that way. So how did we get to Thailand? We're going to be as quick as possible on this because we hate it when people don't get to the point. Right away, the test and go scheme has currently stopped and we now have to fly via the Blue Zone Sandbox scheme. I'm gonna just say once, everything that we're talking about is in the description below, so I don't have to keep saying link below.
So you need to book onto the Blue Zone Sandbox scheme ahead of time. Currently there are 17 destinations on that list. We chose Koh Samui.
Once you've selected your destination from those, you're gonna need to get yourself a Thai Pass QR code, and this is not easy to do. Here are the steps you need to do.
First, you need to book your SHA Extra Plus hotel.
And don't be fooled by the SHA Plus hotels that we booked the first time. They're not permitted on the scheme. It must be an SHA Extra Plus, so check the small print.
Also, do not book through booking.com as that's not permitted.
You're going to need to go to the direct website where you can book the SHA Extra Plus hotels. Next, again, before you apply for your Thai Pass, you need to book your flights in advance.
You need to make sure as well that if you have a connection, you're only travelling to a Thai approved country to make that connection. We flew through Doha. That's where we made our connection. So we had to wait there for 4 hours and then we made our connecting flight.
Also, this next one isn't mandatory, but it's definitely advised. You need to have an onward flight or onward ticket travel out of Thailand. They only ask for this about 50% of the time, but it's really useful to be able to show that you have a flight out.
So because we booked a one-way flight to Thailand and we didn't know when we were leaving, we used a company called Onward Ticket. They allow you to rent a plane ticket for $12 per person, and they hold that for a maximum of about 3 days, and then they cancel it with no faff required.
The next thing you're going to need is medical insurance, and they are very picky around the medical insurance you need. You have to have at least $50,000 worth of COVID cover.
And it can't be implied or in the small print. It has to be extremely obvious that the policy you have covers for COVID.
The final thing you need before you can apply for your Thai Pass is your vaccination certificates. At the moment we have both vaccinations and the booster, and you'll need proof of that.
As a side note, there is a Thai scheme running currently called Happy Quarantine, and that is for unvaxxed travellers. We don't know much about that at the moment because we're completely vaccinated, but if you are not, it's worth checking that out.
Now for the hard bit. You're going to apply for the Thai Pass. You have to go through multiple stages on it, and when you submit it, it takes 3 to 7 working days for them to approve it.
So when we did our applications, mine was accepted immediately, but Jake, because he's a dodgy character, was rejected 6 times.
The reason for the rejection was that we didn't have a letter from the hotel. So when you book your hotel, they will send you a certificate, an SHA Extra Plus certificate that shows that you've booked the hotel, and they have also booked 2 PCR tests for you and quarantined travel from the airport. This is so important you get this letter as quick as possible. However, having said that, with Nicola's, she didn't have that letter on her application and was still approved. I was rejected a lot, and the only way we got it through was by changing my email and reapplying.
I don't know why, but that seemed to work. Once you've made your connection at Bangkok Airport and you've flown into Koh Samui, the second you arrive there, you collect your baggage and immediately go for your PCR test within the airport.
The whole process is super well organised, and you'll be ushered through every single airport, even your connecting flights, through dedicated channels for people on this scheme.
Let me just say, when you get to the airport and they do that PCR test, my God, are they thorough. Like, that stick went in and I felt like she took a swab from my brain.
And then following that awful ordeal, our taxi driver comes over to us. It's a private transfer from the airport directly to your hotel. Upon arrival, you will then be quarantined in your room for the night.
So because you're quarantined in your room for the next sort of 24 hours, you will get 3 meals provided by the hotel, which you will pick in advance. I don't know if that's for every hotel, but that certainly was for ours. So we had 2 menu options. We could pick either a Western menu or an Asian menu. And that covers your breakfast, lunch and dinner for the sort of 12 hours, 24 hours that you're quarantined within your hotel room.
Then at 9 AM the next morning, you get a phone call to say whether you're negative or positive on your COVID test. If you're negative, you're free to roam the island. and all 17 Sandbox destinations as much as you like. If you're positive, you're going to have to quarantine in that room for the next 7 days until you get your 7th day PCR test, again organised by the hotel.
So as you can see now, we are already out of the hotel, so we got that call at 9 AM, we were both negative, so we're free to roam this entire island and just enjoy the beach, enjoy the restaurants, whatever we want to do. On day 7, you have to go to the hospital for your PCR test that's already arranged through the hotel for free. Or you have the option of getting the hospital staff to come out to you and visit you in your hotel, however that's 600 baht per person.
Finally, providing your test is negative, on day 7 you are free to travel the whole of Thailand.